The Vordak testing facility had been the pride of the Galactic Confederation for over 8 centuries. Its annihilation chambers had successfully eliminated threats that entire star fleets couldn't handle: rogue AI constructs, sentient plagues, weaponized quantum entities that existed partially outside normal spacetime. The facility's perfect record of absolute destruction had earned it a reputation that made even the most advanced civilizations approach with reverence and terror. Dr. Zenthal, the facility's chief researcher, stood before the observation deck's reinforced viewing panel with the confidence of someone who had never witnessed failure. His 6 arms danced across holographic controls, while his primary consciousness monitored readouts that would have overwhelmed most organic minds. Subject designation: Human Prime 7834, he announced to the assembled observers. Species classification: Deathworlder. Threat assessment: moderate biological hazard. The human in question, a middle-aged woman named Captain Sarah Mitchell, stood calmly in the pre-chamber, reviewing what appeared to be a standard military tablet. She had volunteered for the test as part of humanity's integration assessment, a requirement for full Confederation membership. The subject seems relaxed, observed Administrator Clicks 9, her crystalline form resonating with uncertainty. Are you certain the containment protocols are sufficient? Dr. Barr's laugh was the grinding sound his species made when expressing amusement. Administrator, Chamber 7 has eliminated entities that could survive in the cores of dying stars. This particular Deathworlder, while admittedly more resilient than standard organic life, is still bound by the basic laws of physics. The chamber itself was a marvel of destructive engineering. 30 meters of void steel walls contained an environment that could be instantly flooded with any combination of lethal conditions. Hard radiation, corrosive atmospheres, gravitational shears, molecular disruptors, psychic nullification fields, and temporal distortion effects that could age matter to dust in microseconds. Initiating Phase 1, Dr. Var announced. Radiation bombardment at levels sufficient to sterilize a small moon. Captain Mitchell looked up from her tablet as the chamber filled with invisible death. The dosimeters immediately maxed out their readings. Through the viewing panel, the observers watched her stand motionless as energy that should have reduced her to constituent atoms washed over her. She yawned. Curious, Dr. Var muttered, adjusting his instruments. Perhaps the Deathworlder has some form of natural shielding. Initiating Phase 2, corrosive atmosphere. The chamber filled with a caustic mixture that had once dissolved an entire Criterion battlecruiser in 43 seconds. The vapor was so aggressive that it attacked matter at the molecular level, breaking down atomic bonds through quantum interference. Captain Mitchell wrinkled her nose slightly and covered her mouth with her sleeve, as if bothered by a mild odor. Impossible. Administrator Clicks 9's resonance pitched higher. Nothing organic can survive those conditions. Phase 3. Dr. Barr's voice carried a note of desperation. Gravitational manipulation. The chamber's artificial gravity fluctuated wildly, creating shear forces that should have compressed the human into a sphere roughly the size of a marble, then stretched her across several meters of space. Captain Mitchell stumbled slightly, caught her balance, and resumed reading her tablet. Phase 4. Molecular disruption. The very air began to shimmer as reality became unstable at the quantum level. Captain Mitchell's hair moved in a non-existent breeze. Phase 5. Psychic nullification. Energy designed to unravel consciousness itself flooded the chamber. Captain Mitchell scratched her head absently and turned a page on her tablet. Phase 6. Temporal distortion. Time itself began to fracture within the chamber, creating loops and accelerations that aged matter at random intervals. Captain Mitchell checked her watch and tapped it twice, apparently concerned that it might be running slow. Dr. Var's 6 arms moved frantically across his controls. Simultaneous activation. All systems maximum power. The chamber became a maelstrom of destruction that defied description. Sensors overloaded trying to measure the chaotic energies within. The facility's power grid strained under the demand. 3 nearby star systems dimmed as their energy was siphoned through quantum taps. Through the cacophony of annihilation, Captain Mitchell was visible as a calm figure, still reading her tablet. After 17 minutes of maximum output, the systems automatically shut down to prevent facility-wide destruction. Emergency cooling systems engaged throughout the structure. The chamber's atmosphere slowly cleared. Captain Mitchell looked up from her tablet and walked to the exit door. She pressed the intercom button. "Hey, are we done? I finished reading the safety briefing you guys sent over. Pretty thorough stuff. Though I noticed a few things you might want to update." Dr. Barr stared at his instruments in disbelief. Every destructive force in the chamber had operated at maximum efficiency. The energy levels had been sufficient to crack a small planet. What would you suggest updating?" he asked weakly. "Well, for starters, that radiation limit seems pretty low. On Earth, we get worse exposure during commercial airline flights. And the corrosive atmosphere section, you might want to mention that humans have survived in sulfuric acid concentrations way higher than what you used." Administrator Clicks 9 made a sound like breaking glass. "How is this possible?" Captain Mitchell shrugged. "Earth's a tough neighborhood. You kind of adapt or you don't make it. Oh, and your temporal distortion field was pretty neat, but it felt a lot like the time dilation effects we get during FTL jumps. My watch automatically compensated." The chamber door cycled open, and Captain Mitchell stepped out, brushing imaginary dust from her uniform. "So did I pass the test?" she asked cheerfully. Dr. Barr looked at his readings one more time, then quietly submitted his resignation letter. The next day, the Vortak testing facility received its first modification request in 800 years, installation of a human-safe observation mode. The Galactic Confederation approved humanity's membership application without further testing. Some questions, they decided, were better left unasked.